Welcome to the Assam History Lecture Series. Today we are discussing the medieval history part 6, and this will be our lecture 7 of our Assam history classes. We have been covering the medieval history. So students, we will cover today the last part of the Ahom kingdom. So students, it will be very important class for Assam history. So please pay attention. So this class is basically for the new pattern of APSC for both prelims and mains. However, this is also useful for the state level government examinations. So as we have already discussed, the Assam history can be divided into 5 segments: the prehistoric period, the ancient history, the medieval, the modern, and the post-independence history. So as you already know that we have already covered the prehistory and the ancient history. So we are covering the medieval history of Assam, and we will need 2 more classes to complete the medieval history. So after that we will go for modern and post-Indian history, and this will substantially cover our Assam history course of the syllabus. Now in medieval history, as we have already discussed, we have covered the first Mohammedan invasion of Kamrupa, then kingdom of Komota, Sutia kingdom, Baro Bhuyas, Khen dynasty, Koch kingdom, Kasari kingdom, Joyanta kingdom. So we have covered this part. So we will cover today the Ahom kingdom, the Burmese war, and the arrival of East India Company, and the Treaty of Yandabu. So today we will nearly complete. We will nearly complete the medieval history of Assam. We will take 2 more classes where we will cover certain significant events and personalities of medieval history of Assam. So with 2 more classes, we will complete our medieval history. So students, let us begin. So we are continuing with our discussion of the most important rulers of the Ahom kingdom, and we have come to the last part of the Ahom kingdom, where we will see the last rulers of the Ahom kingdom. So next we are discussing the Suhit Pankha, who is also known as Gorinath Singha, and he ruled from 1780 to 1795. So significant events of his rule are: he lost his capital Rangpur, which is in present day Sibsagar. He lost his capital Rangpur to the Muamoria rebellion and camped in the Nagaon and Guwahati region till Captain Wells removed the rebel. So he took help from the British captain, Captain Wells, and he thereafter established his capital at Jorhat. So we know that Ahom's capital have been shifting from Saraidev to Gorgaon, from Gorgaon to Rangpur, and from Rangpur to Jorhat. So Jorhat is the last capital of the Ahom kingdom, from Saraidev to Gorgaon, from Gorgaon to Rangpur, and from Rangpur to Jorhat. So this may be an important question asked by APSC in the preliminary examination. Now the next important king in the Ahom kingdom is the Suklingpha, and he is also known as Kamaleswar Singha, and he ruled between 1795 to 1811. Now his reign witnessed the suppression of the Muamoria rebellion and restoration of Ahom rule over Upper Assam. So under his rule, Suklimpha, 2 rebellion. One is the Muamoria rebellion, and the other is the Dondua rebellion in Kamrup was suppressed under his rule. In Nagaon, the Ahom army also managed to defeat a coalition of Mohammedan rebels and the Kosaris of the Kosari kingdom. So, under Suklimfa, under the rule of Suklimfa, major rebellions in Muhammadiyah rebellion and Dondua Droh or Dondua revolution were suppressed. Also, a coalition of Muhammadiyah rebels and Kosaris of Kosari kingdom was defeated. Since the monarch was very young and this suppression of the rebellions was attributed primarily to the Prime Minister of Ahom Kingdom, Purnananda Buragohai. So since the monarch was very young, the administration of the kingdom was run by Purnananda Buragohai, the Prime Minister of Ahom Kingdom, who was an able administrator and general. So the primary reason of his ability to suppress the rebellions was the Prime Minister Purnananda Buragohai, and due to which the Ahom Kingdom revived its strength and power during the reign of the Kamaleswar Singha. Now the next important ruler was the Sudingpha or Chandrakanta Singha. He was also known as Chandrakanta Singha. So this was the time when Burmese attacks happened, and Chandrakanta Singha ruled Assam for 2 terms. First from 1811 to 1818, and then from 1819 to 1821. So he was a Tungkhungya king of the Ahom dynasty. He belonged to the Tungkhungya clan, who ruled at the climactic of the Ahom kingdom. So the Ahom kingdom, which was facing changes, he ruled at that time, and his rule witnessed the invasion of Burmese Assam. So this may be a prelims based question. So his reign witnessed the invasion of Burmese on Assam and its subsequent occupation by the British East India Company. So he was installed as king twice. His first rule ended when Ruchinath Buragohai deposed him and installed Purandar Singha in his stead. So his first rule ended when the Prime Minister Ruchinath Buragohai, or the Minister Ruchinath Buragohai, deposed him, removed him, and installed Purandar Singha in his place. And Chandrakanta Singha's second rule ended with his defeat at the hands of the invading Burmese army. He continued his militant efforts to regain his kingdom as well as to keep Purandar Singha at bay. So he continued his military efforts to regain the kingdom and also to keep Purandar Singha from occupying the throne. Finally, Chandrakanta Singha submitted himself to Burmese, who induced him to believe that they will make him king. So he believed the Burmese that they will make him king, but instead they captured him in confinement at Rangpur. So, and therefore the Burmese rule in Assam began. But after the defeat of the Burmese in the first Anglo-Burmese war between the Burmese and the East India Company and the subsequent peace treaty of Yandavu on 24 February 1826, Assam passed into the hands of British. So Chandrakanta Singha received a pension of 500 rupees, and he first lived in Koliabor and later at Guwahati. He visited Calcutta in order to request the restoration of his kingdom, but he was not successful, and finally he died in 1839. Now, the next important ruler, or the last ruler, was Purandar Singha, and this is an important prelims based question which may be asked in this year's examination. Who was the last king of Ahom kingdom in Assam? So the answer will be Purandar Singha. He ruled twice from 1818 to 1819 and 1833 to 1838. As we have discussed, he was so continuing with Purandhar Singha. For the first time, he was installed by Ruchinath Buragohai in 1818 AD after Ruchinath Buragohai deposed Chandrakanta Singha from the throne. So Chandrakanta Singha was removed and Purandar Singha was placed in his instead. And Purandar Singha's first rule ended in 1819 during the second Burmese invasion of Assam, when his forces were defeated and Burmese again reinstalled the Chandrakanta Singha on the throne. So we have seen that Chandrakanta Singha ruled twice. So when Purandar Singha lost to the Burmese army, then the Burmese reinstalled Chandrakanta Singha again on the throne. He, along with Ruchinath Buragohai, continued efforts to expel Burmese invaders by seeking help from British and through armed struggle. So after First Anglo-Burmese War, the British in the East India Company occupied Assam from British invaders after the Treaty of Yandabu in 1826. Finding it difficult to administer an unfamiliar region and sensing discontent among the local inhabitants to foreign rule, the British authorities decided to restore Upper Assam to one prince of Ahom dynasty. So since the British after the Treaty of Yandabu occupied the Assam, so they decided to place an Ahom prince from the Ahom dynasty to restore as a king. However, the British found him incompetent and defaulter in payments of revenue. The British formally annexed his kingdom and putting an end to 600 years of reign of the Ahom dynasty. So with Purandar Singha, Ahom dynasty came to an end. Now the important from our medieval history, this point is very important, that the Burmese invasions of Assam from 1817 to 1826. So there were three Burmese invasions of Assam between 1817 to 1826, during which the kingdom of Ahom came under the control of Burma. So from 1821 to 1825, there was Assam was under Burmese control from 1821 to 1825, and in our Ohomiyat ekhini samoyke amar manor din boli koa hoy. This locally this period is called as the manor din by the indigenous Assamese people, and it is also called Chahi Taret Khuntakpa, that is 7 years of devastation in Meitei, which is a language in modern day Manipur state. So these times were remembered with horror. The British, who were earlier reluctant to colonize Assam, came to direct contact with the Burmese occupying force. After the first Anglo-Burmese War, the British annexed not just Assam but also Burma. So initially the British were reluctant to occupy Assam or colonize Assam. However, when they came in contact with the Burmese army, they not only controlled or occupied the Assam province, but also they occupied the Burma. So in the later part of the 18th century, the Ahom kingdom in Assam, so here the reasons are given that why did the Burmese army were able to occupy Assam. So reasons are mentioned in this slide that in the later part of the 18th century, Ahom kingdom in Assam was wrecked by a series of rebellions. The Mohmara rebellion in Upper Assam and the Dondua Draw or the Dondua rebellion in Western Assam severely weakened the Ahom kingdom. However, the Prime Minister Purnananda Buragohai tried his best to re-establish Ahom rule over the region, and with great efforts, he finally suppressed all the rebellions and firmly established the royal authority over the kingdom. But it was the Bodon Chandra Borphukon, the governor of Guwahati, who was anxious of the growing power of the Prime Minister Purnananda Buragohai. So at first, Bodon Chandra Borphukon tried to make friendship with Purnananda Buragohai by having marriage relations with him. So he gave his daughter Pijo Gabhoru to Purnananda's son Urekhanath Dhekial Phukon along with a huge amount of gold and utensils. However, the move backfired when Purnananda Buragohai expressed his displeasure and suspected Bodon Chandra Borphukon of misusing his office. So this angered by the behavior of the Purnananda Buragohai, Bodon Chandra Borphukon encouraged conspirators in the capital Jorhat with the aim to assassinate Purnananda Buragohai. So Bodon Chandra Borphukon made a plan to assassinate the Prime Minister Purnananda Buragohai. However, the conspiracy failed and the conspirators were punished. The alleged link of Bodon Chandra Borphukon with the conspirators got revealed. Also, the people of Western Assam complained Buragohai about the atrocities committed by Bodon Chandra Borphukon and his two sons. Finally, in 1815 AD, Purnananda Buragohai decided to act and he sent a deputation with orders to arrest Bodon Chandra Borphukon. However, the Pijo Gabhoru, the daughter-in-law of Purnananda Buragohai, who was also the daughter of Bodon Chandra Borphukon, sent an early message to her father warning him of the danger. So once Bodon Chandra Borphukon was warned, he escaped to Bengal, which was under the British rule, and Buragohai's men met him and caught him, but Bodon Chandra Borphukon was able to escape. Then Bodon Chandra Borphukon went to Calcutta and visited the Governor General Lord Hastings with the plea to help to oust Purnananda Buragohai. The Governor General declined his request, stating their policy of non-interference in the internal matter of another kingdom. Then, around that time, Bodon Chandra Borphukon met the envoy of Burmese King Bodawpaya, who was on a visit at Calcutta. The envoy, after hearing his plea, took him to Burma and fixed an appointment with Bodawpaya. So this led to the Burmese invasion of Assam. So here we are discussing the first Burmese invasion of Assam. So in 1816, Bodon Borphukon came to the court of Burmese King Bodawpaya and sought help to defeat his political rival Purnananda Buragohai. The first battle took place on March 27, 1817 at Khiledhari. The Assam forces were led by Daman Gogoi, Haom Bora and Jama Khan. The battle continued for a week when Purnananda Buragohai died due to natural causes. And according to the Buronjis, this led to the division in the ranks of the Ahom nobility, and due to lack of reinforcements, the Assam army surrendered. Then Ruchinath, the son of Purnananda Buragohai, became the Buragohai and asked the king to evacuate, who refused. So when the Ahom army was at the brink of defeat, the Prime Minister at the time, Ruchinath Buragohai, who was the son of earlier Prime Minister Purnananda Buragohai, asked the king to evacuate, but the king refused to evacuate. And at the time, the king was Chandrakanta Singha. And this led Ruchinath to suspect that Chandrakanta Singha was in alliance with the Badan Barphukan, and thereby he left Guwahati. He left for Guwahati. The king at that time was Chandrakanta Singha, and Chandrakanta Singha stayed behind, and he received Badan Chandra Barphukan and made him the Mantri Phukan. The Burmese army left Assam in April 1817, and soon after Badan Chandra Barphukan was assassinated. Ruchinath marched against Chandrakanta Singha and made Purandar Singha the king. So after the Burmese army left, so Purandar Singha was made the king again in 1818. Now this led to the second Burmese invasion. So after the first invasion, the Burmese army left, and that leads to the second Burmese invasion. Now Bodapaya, on hearing this news, the Burmese king sent an army of 30,000 under the command of Kiamingi or Alamingi Borgohai and guided by Patalang Senapati or Momai Borua. This army was met by an army led by Jagannath Dhekial Phukon on February 15, 1819 at Full Pani Singa near Zazi. So Zazi is a river, so it's a place now in modern Sibsagar district of Assam, so near Zazi. The Burmese army was defeated with a loss of about 300 soldiers and retreated a short distance. The Assam army made a mistake here, that Assam army, instead of pursuing the defeated Burmese army, returned to the Ahom capital Jorhat, leading to confusion and panic. Now failing to instill confidence, Ruchinath Buragohai, the minister, and Purandar Singha, the king, sailed down to Guwahati and so the minister Ruchinath Buragohai and the king Purandar Singha sailed down to Guwahati, and the Burmese army was able to occupy again the capital 2 days later. Now Chandrakanta was again, the Burmese army again reinstated Chandrakanta Singha as the king on March 9, 1819, followed by the execution of the Ahom officials who had supported Ruchinath Buragohai, and in the middle of April 1819, Kiamingi left for Burma, leaving Mingi Maha Tilwa in charge. So under Tilwa's orders, Patalang further pursued Ruchinath, engaged his forces in Nagaon, and finally pushed him beyond Assam boundary, that is the Assam Chowki. Patalang was made the Borborua, and the Burmese contingent returned to Burma on January 27, 1820. So Chandrakanta's attitude towards the Burmese changed soon after. Patalang, who was originally a native of Namrup, persuaded the king to shake off Burmese allegiance and had a fort constructed at Jaipur, that is at Digolihat. Now, this led to the Third Burmese War. This led to the Third Burmese War. In 1819, Bagidao became king of Burma and decided to annex again Assam. So he sent again the Mingi Maha Tilwa to Assam in February 1821. Patalang Borura was killed and Chandrakanta Singha fled to Guwahati. Mingi Maha killed a number of Ahom officials and again installed Punyadhar or Jogeshwar Singha as the king. Chandrakanta's response. So Chandrakanta Singha made his camp at Guwahati and led his campaign against the Burmese without any help from Ruchinath or Purandar Singha. Purandar, who was unable to raise an army in the British territory, raised one in Bhutan under Robert Bruce. a large force deputed by Tilwa advanced against Chandrakanto in September 1821, who retreated to Assam Chowki, that is the boundary of Assam at that time near the Manas River in the western Assam, and then to the British territories. So unlike Purandar, Chandrakanta was able to raise a force mainly of Sikhs and Hindustani soldiers, and he retook the Assam Chowki. He retook the Assam Chowki October 1821 and Guwahati December 1821, and pitched his camp at Mahagor near Jorhat on March 15, 1822. By this time, the Burmese king Bagidao, on hearing of the Assam situation, sent in a 20,000 strong contingent under Mingi Maha Bandula, who attacked and defeated the forces of Chandrakanta in April 1822. Chandrakanta fell back to Guwahati and finally to Assam Chowki, where he encountered Mingi Maha Tilwa in June 1822. He was defeated and had to further retreat in the British territory. So finally, after this victory, the Burmese declared that Mingi Maha Tilwa is the Raja of Assam and brought an end to the sovereign Ahom rule in Assam. So in 1822, Burmese ruler established its rule in Assam. Now we will discuss the salient aspects of the Burmese rule in Assam. So it was one of the darkest phases of Assam history, the Manor Din. It is also called the Manor Din in Assamese. The defeat of Chandrakanta at Assam Chowki brought the Burmese face to face with the British in the Brahmaputra Valley. So till that time, the Burmese were not in direct contact with the British in Assam Valley, in the Brahmaputra Valley. The Burmese troops faced logistics issue and as a result, Bandula left Guwahati, leaving Tilwa at Guwahati with only 1,000 troops. At this juncture, Chandrakanta Singha was invited by the Burmese to come back and rule. Chandrakanta abandoned his Baruas and Phukans and surrendered to Tilwa at Assam Chowki. And when he reached Jorhat, he was imprisoned by the Burmese. So this period of Burmese occupation is remembered in Assam as a very, very difficult, with the garrison soldiers and native marauders committing atrocities on the common people, leading to thousands leaving Assam for Bengal. By 1825, the Meiteis, the natives of Manipur, under the leadership of Meitei King Gambhir Singha, had repulsed the Burmese and drove them past the Chinwin River. The occupation led to frequent contacts between the Burmese and the British, and finally it led to the Treaty of Yandabu in 1826. So this treaty marked the end of Burmese rule in Assam and the beginning of British rule in Assam. So this date is very important. The Treaty of Yandabu of 1826. Now let us look at the brief points of Treaty of Yandabu. The Treaty of Yandabu was the peace treaty that ended the First Anglo-Burmese War. The treaty was signed on 24th February 1826 between the British and the Burmese. However, for this treaty, there was no permission and consent of the Ahom king or the Kosari king or the other territories which covered in the treaty. So this treaty was between the British and the Burmese for the land occupied by the Ahom kingdom and Kosari kingdom. However, these kingdoms were not taken in confidence, or permission of these kingdoms were not taken for the treaty. Now, the key points of the treaty were the Burmese agreed to give the following provinces to Assam, to British, the Assam province, the Manipur, the Rakhine, and the Taninhati coast south to the Salween River. So these are now in the modern day Myanmar, and Assam and Manipur in India. Also, the Burmese agreed to seize all interference in Kasar region of Assam and the Zentia Hills district. Also, they agreed to pay an indemnity of £1 million in 4 installments. So the treaty ended the longest and most expensive war in British Indian history. The campaign cost the British £5 million to £13 million, which is roughly around 18.5 billion in dollars. For the Burmese, however, for the Burmese, it was the beginning of the end of their independence, because after this treaty, the British occupied completely the Burma. So students, with this, we come to an end to our today's class. So in our upcoming classes, we will cover certain salient features of the Ahom rule, such as the Ahom administration, the Paik system. Now, how did Ahom dynasty manage to rule for 600 years in Assam? Why did the Ahom kingdom fall? Also, certain other salient aspects of the medieval history of Assam. So students, I hope this class was helpful. Thank you for watching this class. Thank you so much.